The grocery total hits $912.46, just as Grant's uncle requests the bourbon with the horse on the bottle. "Make it 2, someone says through the speaker. My fiancé laughs and adds both bottles to the huge grocery cart he has built on my account. 18 relatives are coming for Sunday dinner, a fact I learned less than 5 minutes ago. Grant's mother, Diane, sits at my kitchen island with one hand curled around a glass of my wine, smiling while everyone chooses extras. I ask Grant when we agreed to this. He barely glances up from his phone. Hosting is simply your duty now. You're marrying into a close family. The call goes oddly quiet, as if 18 people have leaned closer to hear what I'll do. I open my laptop, click the pending order, and end the grocery order. A green confirmation bar appears. Grant is still promising his cousin Marcy that I'll make the potatoes she loved at Christmas when his phone begins vibrating with cancellation notices. His face changes. Diane's doesn't. That is when I wonder how many times they have discussed my duties without me. "What did you just do?" Grant asks. I close the laptop. I canceled the order. I can see that. Why? Because I'm not buying $900 worth of groceries for a dinner I wasn't asked to host. You were asked. No, I was informed. On the tablet propped against the fruit bowl, 19 little faces stare back at us. Diane had wanted a larger screen for the planning call, so Grant had carried my tablet in from the office and signed into the Mercer family account. They're arranged in neat squares, relatives calling from living rooms, patios, and one parked car. A few suddenly become very interested in things outside their cameras. Grant's uncle lifts his drink. "Maybe we should let you two sort out the details." "The details are sorted," Diane says. "Mara's had a long week. She's tired." Her voice is warm enough to make the sentence sound generous. Diane can turn an insult into a casserole and bring it to your house with reheating instructions. Grant mutes the call. "Do you understand how embarrassing that was?" he asks. "You announced a dinner in my house, volunteered me to cook it, and put the groceries on my account." Our house. The mortgage company seems to have missed that update. His mouth tightens. We have had versions of that argument before, though never in front of his family. Grant moved in 14 months ago and transfers a fixed amount toward utilities and household expenses. The mortgage stays in my name because I bought the place 3 years before we met. Usually he calls that arrangement sensible. It only becomes our house when he wants to promise part of it to someone else. Diane slides off the stool. She is wearing cream slacks and low heels, as if she dressed for the part of a reasonable woman forced to witness an unfortunate scene. "No one is trying to take advantage of you, Mara." "Great. Then no one should mind paying for their own dinner." She gives a small laugh. "That's not how family hospitality works. How does it work? We all contribute. Who's cooking?" She looks at Grant. Grant looks at me. On the muted tablet, Uncle Rob holds up a handwritten sign that says, "Are we still on for 6?" Diane presses 2 fingers to her temple. Guests aren't supposed to arrive and work. I wait. She realizes it half a second too late. Grant unmutes the call. "We're having a minor issue with the app." "It's not an app issue," I say. He mutes it again so fast his thumb knocks the tablet sideways. "Can you stop?" he says. There is a sharpness in his voice I have heard him use with customer service representatives and once with a hotel clerk who gave away our room. I have never heard it aimed at me. I look at the dark blue suit hanging from the pantry door. He picked it up that afternoon for our engagement photos and hung it there so the wrinkles could fall out. 6 months from now, he is supposed to wear it when he marries me. Stop what? Making everything transactional. I almost smile. The groceries are sitting in an online cart with prices beside them. Diane touches his arm. "Grant, honey, go finish the call in the den. I'll speak to Mara." "No," I say. He stares at me. "You don't get to send your mother in to explain what you meant. If there's something you need me to understand, you explain it." Diane's hand drops. Grant takes a breath through his nose. "I thought you'd be happy. You like hosting." I like inviting people over. They love your cooking. That doesn't answer me. What do you want me to say, Mara? That I should have sent a calendar request? I want you to tell me why you thought you could spend $900 from my account without asking. We're getting married. There it is again, not as a promise, but as a transfer of authority. Diane picks up her purse. This is becoming uglier than it needs to be. Grant turns toward her. Mom, don't leave. I'm not staying while she speaks to you this way. The sentence is so expertly delivered that for a moment, even I search my memory for the cruel thing I must have said. Grant follows her to the front hall. I hear their voices lower as they pass the framed print by the stairs. Then comes the soft scrape of glass. Every evening, Grant drops his keys into the green dish on the narrow table beside the door. I bought it the day I closed on the house, mostly because I had spent 40 minutes searching for my keys inside an empty moving box. The shop owner called the color bottle green. In sunlight, it throws a pale green oval onto the wall. Tonight, the dish gives a second little clink. Diane says something I can't catch. The front door opens and closes. When Grant returns, the family call is still running. Uncle Rob's handwritten sign now says, "Hello." Grant ends the call without saying goodbye. You heard her. I canceled groceries. You made her look ridiculous in front of the whole family. She didn't look ridiculous. You did. He flinches, and I hate that part of me wants to take it back. Grant is easy to love when no one is asking him to choose. He brings me coffee in the shower when I'm late. He can make my father laugh hard enough to cough. When I had the flu last winter, he slept on top of the comforter because I kept insisting I wasn't contagious, and he knew I'd be hurt if he moved to the guest room. He also once let Diane rearrange my pantry while I was at work, then told me she was only trying to help. Sunday was supposed to be a surprise, he says. For who? You've been saying we never see anybody. I said we hadn't seen Celeste and Tom since New Year's. That wasn't a request for the entire family directory. It's 18 people, plus us. Fine, 20. You say that like 20 people eat air. He rubs both hands over his face. I'll cover the groceries. With what? My money. Then use your account. I will. And you'll cook? His hands stop. Or is that still my duty? That was a bad choice of words. Was it? Yes. Then what did you mean? I meant that when you're part of a family, sometimes you do things you didn't personally schedule. Like spending someone else's money? You keep coming back to the money because you keep spending it. He walks to the refrigerator and opens it, though we both know he isn't hungry. Cold light flattens his face. Inside are eggs, a carton of oat milk, leftover Thai food, 3 lemons, and the chicken I plan to roast for us Sunday night. We already told everybody, he says. That's a problem for the person who told them. He closes the refrigerator. You really won't help me fix this? The question lands differently than his anger. For a second, he sounds scared. I could reopen the app. The cart is gone, but the items will still be in the recent tab. I could cut the steaks, choose cheaper wine, drop the flowers and imported cheese. I could make 2 pans of potatoes and ask everyone to bring something. By Sunday night, the family would call dinner lovely. Grant would kiss my temple while I loaded the dishwasher. Diane would tell me I had worried for nothing. And the next time, $900 would become a precedent. No, I say. Grant nods slowly. Okay. That calm answer makes me uneasy. He picks up his suit from the pantry door and carries it upstairs. I remain in the kitchen with the abandoned wine glass and a fruit bowl full of limes Diane added because she thought lemons looked ordinary. The tablet screen is black now. In it, I can see my own reflection sitting where her family had been. At the clinic, my job is to prevent small failures from joining together. A therapist calls out. A treatment room floods. An insurer refuses authorization, and a patient's ride doesn't come. None of those things is catastrophic alone. Stack them in the right order, and the entire day buckles. Grant used to tease me for running our life the same way. backup batteries in the hall closet, spare coffee in the freezer, plumber's number taped beneath the sink. You make disaster boring, he told me after a pipe burst in the laundry room and I shut off the water before he had finished searching for a tutorial. It had sounded like admiration. Now I wonder whether he admires the work or simply enjoys living inside it. Upstairs, drawers open and close. Water runs in the bathroom. I rinse Diane's glass and place it in the dishwasher, then stop myself before wiping the ring she left on the counter. I leave it there. Grant comes to bed after midnight. He smells like mint toothpaste and the cedar soap I buy for him. He lies on his back staring at the ceiling. Mom says she'll pay for some of it, he says. I turn off my bedside lamp. Some of what? Dinner. I thought you were covering it. I am. She offered to help. Good. She also thinks you owe her an apology. For canceling my own order? For the way you did it. I clicked a button. In front of everybody. They were in my kitchen. They were on a screen. Then I'm sure they survived. The mattress shifts as he turns toward me. You can be really cold. That one finds its mark. I face the window so he won't see it happen. Outside, a car passes, headlights sliding over the ceiling and disappearing. 3 weeks earlier, I had signed the final catering contract for our wedding. Grant had sat beside me at this same bed, his chin on my shoulder, teasing me about the tiny mushroom tartlets I insisted we needed. When the deposit went through, he wrapped both arms around me and said, "It's real now." I had thought he meant us. "Good night, Grant," I say. In the morning, he is gone before I wake. There is coffee in the pot and a note beside my mug. Went to help Mom with something. Love you. The heart beneath the words is drawn in 2 quick loops. He has been leaving me notes like that since the first month he stayed over. I fold it once and put it in the junk drawer instead of throwing it away. My phone buzzes while I'm making toast. The notification is from the credit card we use for wedding expenses. Grocery delivery, $912.46. For a moment, I think the cancellation failed. Then I notice the last 4 digits. Grant has rebuilt the entire cart and charged it to the wedding card. I call him. He answers on the 4th ring with road noise behind him. Hey. You place the order again. A pause. I told you I'd handle it. You charged it to our wedding account. It's a shared card. For wedding expenses. We'll replace the money next month. Who is we? Mara, I'm driving. Pull over. I'm not doing this right now. The delivery is scheduled for noon. Then I guess you have until noon to decide whether you want to help. He hangs up. I stand in the kitchen holding my phone. The toast begins smoking. I push the lever up and carry the blackened bread to the sink. That is when I notice the front hall table. Grant's car key is gone, as it should be. My key rests in the green glass dish, brass teeth pointing toward the door. The spare house key is missing. I call Grant back. He lets it ring. I call Diane. She answers immediately. Mara, she says, sounding pleased. I was wondering when you'd notice. I noticed before you called, I say. Then why did you ask? I wanted to hear you admit you had it. Grant gave it to me. There's nothing to admit. The toast smolders in the sink while she talks. I turn on the faucet and watch the black surface hiss. Bring it back. I need it for tomorrow. You don't need a key to a house where I'll be present. You've made it very clear you don't intend to be helpful. That still doesn't make it your house. Her breath catches, just enough to tell me I have touched the live wire beneath all her careful manners. I have been coming to my son's home since he moved in. You've been coming to my home because I invited you. And now you're uninviting me? I'm asking for my key. This is exactly what worries me about you, Mara. You keep score. Then this should be easy. 1 key came off the hook. 1 key comes back. She hangs up. I return to the grocery app. Grant has used my login again, probably because the saved list was still there. He changed the payment method and added a note asking the shopper to choose presentation quality produce. The cart includes the 2 bottles of bourbon, 4 tenderloins, 8 bottles of wine, 6 kinds of cheese, and a bouquet labeled Luxury Seasonal Selection. He has also added 3 disposable aluminum pans. Apparently my duty includes cookware. I cancel the order a second time. Then I remove every payment method, change the password, and sign out all devices. My hands shake only after I finish. The wedding card is still open in another browser tab. The charge has changed from pending to reversed. Beneath it are months of ordinary wedding expenses. Photographer deposit, suit alterations, invitations, the florist's first installment. Grant's name appears beside mine at the top of the account. I freeze both cards. Then I text him. The grocery order is canceled. The wedding card is frozen. Your mother has until noon to return my key. 3 dots appear, vanish, and appear again. You're acting insane. I read the sentence twice. It is the first time he has ever called me that, and it arrives so casually I can almost see him choosing it at a red light. At 11:47, Diane's silver SUV pulls into the driveway. She walks to the door with the spare key already in her hand and lets herself in. I am standing 6 feet away. She looks from me to the key as if the door has betrayed her by opening too easily. I said to return it, not use it. It was raining. Outside, the sun is bright enough to bleach the sidewalk. She sets 2 canvas shopping bags on the floor. One contains folded ivory tablecloths. The other is packed with taper candles, napkin rings, and place cards. You've been shopping. Someone had to. For the dinner I canceled. You canceled groceries. Grant did not cancel his invitation. She places the spare key in the green dish. It lands beside mine with a hard, bright clink. There, she says. Crisis over. I pick it up and slide it into my pocket. Diane notices, and something cool passes through her face. I've tried very hard with you, Mara. You rearranged my pantry the 3rd time you visited. It was chaotic. You put the coffee above the refrigerator. There was more room. I'm 5'4". You found it, didn't you? I laugh before I can stop myself. She looks offended, which only makes it worse. This is funny to you? The coffee was more accessible to Grant, who doesn't drink coffee, than it was to me. My son shouldn't feel like a guest in the home where he lives. He doesn't. He asks before hanging pictures. Because we decide together what goes on the walls. He pays to live here. He pays less than half of what he paid for his old apartment. Her eyes sharpen. So that's what this is about. You think paying more means you matter more. No, I think asking me before planning a 20-person dinner means I matter at all. The sentence hangs between us. For the first time since she arrived, Diane looks away. She walks past me with the bags. I follow her into the dining room where she unfolds an ivory cloth across my table. Take that off. It protects the wood. I'm not hosting. Then go out. No one expects you to stay if you plan to sulk. This is my house. And it is Grant's family. She smooths the cloth with both palms. Do you have any idea how many women would be grateful that their husband's family wanted to gather in their home? Fiancé? What? He is still my fiancé. The distinction seems to startle both of us. Diane begins folding the tablecloth again, each crease pressed with the side of her hand. When I married Grant's father, his mother came for dinner every Wednesday, she says. She criticized my roast, my hair, the way I folded towels. I never once told her she wasn't welcome. Did that make you feel loved? It made me part of something. She says it without hesitation, but her fingers stop moving. There she is for a moment, not a villain, just a woman who paid admission years ago and now thinks I am cheating by refusing to buy the same ticket. Then she lifts her chin. Families survive because people do what is required of them. Maybe yours can survive one canceled dinner. She packs the tablecloth. She leaves the candles and napkin rings on the floor, either by accident or as a claim. At the door, she says, Grant won't forgive being shamed in front of his relatives. I lean against the frame. That sounds like something he should tell me himself. He doesn't want to hurt you. He called me insane. Her expression changes, but only slightly. Grant must not have told her that part. He's under pressure. From who? Diane walks out without answering. Grant comes home at 4 with 6 paper grocery bags and the fixed expression of a man carrying both provisions and righteousness. He sets the bags on the counter one at a time. Chicken thighs, potatoes, lettuce, hamburger buns, 3 bottles of store-brand red wine. "This is what I can afford on short notice," he says. "Then this is what you serve." Mom's ordering sides from Bellini's. Good. Uncle Rob is bringing bourbon. Problem solved. He grips the edge of the counter. "You'd like that, wouldn't you?" "What?" "To watch me scramble." "No, I'd like you to cancel. It's too late." It was never too late. He pulls a receipt from his pocket and flattens it in front of me. The total is $286.19. "I paid," he says. I don't know what response he expects. Praise, maybe. Reimbursement. I look inside one bag. "How are you planning to cook 24 chicken thighs?" "The grill." "You can fit 10, maybe 12. "I'll do batches." "Okay." "And Mom can use the oven." "Okay. We'll need the big roasting pans. They're in the lower cabinet." His shoulders loosen. For a second, information feels enough like help that we slip toward normal. Then he says, "You could make the potatoes." "No. Mara, you told your family I would cook before you told me they were coming. If I cook now, you learn that works. I'm not a dog. Then stop asking me to reward you." He turns away so quickly he knocks a bag over. Potatoes roll across the floor. One bumps my shoe. Neither of us bends to pick it up. Saturday passes in the kind of strained efficiency we usually perform well together. Grant scrubs the grill and borrows folding chairs from Tom. Diane sends 2 delivery drivers to the wrong address because she has our house number saved with her street. I redirect one and let the other call her. At 6, Grant finds me replacing the spare key on a plain steel ring. "Where are you going?" "To dinner tomorrow." "We're having dinner here." "You're having dinner here." "With my family." "Yes." "You're seriously leaving?" "I made plans with Nina. Nina handles billing at the clinic and has spent the last month trying to get me to see a detective movie with her. When I texted that morning, she replied in 9 seconds. Grant sits on the bottom stair. "Do they know?" "That I'm going to a movie?" "My family. They know you invited them. They think you're cooking. Then you should correct them." He studies the floor. "Can you at least be here when they arrive?" "No." "That's cruel. What exactly do you think will happen if I'm here?" "You'll greet people, put out drinks, make them comfortable." Host. His jaw works. From the dining room, the ivory napkin rings gleam inside Diane's open bag. "You've made your point," he says. "So have you." On Sunday, Diane arrives at one with her arms full of foil trays, 3 hours before the guests. She rings the bell. The returned key is in my pocket. When I open the door, she looks at the green dish and sees only my key inside. "Grant isn't here?" "He went for ice." She holds out the trays. I step aside so she can carry them herself. For the next 2 hours, she and Grant move through my kitchen with the offended energy of people covering for an employee who failed to appear. Cabinet doors bang. The smoke alarm chirps twice. Diane asks where I keep the gravy boat, the warming drawer, and the second refrigerator. "I don't have those things," I tell her. She says, "Of course," as though I have hidden them from spite. At 3:30, I put on my jacket. Grant is standing over the sink, trimming chicken with my sewing scissors. Those aren't kitchen scissors. They're scissors. They cut fabric. They're cutting chicken. I take my purse from the hook. "Don't put them back in the sewing room." He drops them into the sink. "Are you really doing this?" "Doing what?" "Walking out while I'm drowning." "You invited the water." The doorbell rings before he can answer. Celeste and Tom are early. Celeste holds a lemon pie and Tom has 2 bags of ice tucked against his chest. "Mara," Celeste says, "I hear we're having quite a production." I hear that, too. Her smile fades when she sees my coat. "You're leaving?" "I have plans, but this is your dinner." "No, It's Grant's. Behind me, the smoke alarm chirps again. Grant swears. Diane shouts that the chicken needs to be turned. Celeste's eyes move from my face to the kitchen. I see, she says, though she doesn't yet. I get home at 10:20. Nina offered her couch, but sleeping elsewhere would make the house feel surrendered, and I have surrendered enough for one day. Cars are gone. The front door is unlocked. Inside, the smell hits first. Smoke, wine, damp wool, and something sweet burned onto metal. Folding chairs block the hall. A purple stain spreads across the dining room rug. Half a lemon pie is crushed inside its box on the sideboard. Grant is loading the dishwasher. He has filled the detergent compartment with liquid dish soap. White foam pushes through the seal and slides down the cabinet. I turn the machine off. He doesn't look at me. How was your movie? Good. Glad somebody had a nice time. I get towels from the laundry room and place them over the foam. The chicken took an hour and a half, he says. People ate in shifts. That happens with batches. Bellini's forgot one of Mom's trays. That sounds frustrating. Uncle Rob cut his hand opening the wine. Is he okay? He's fine. I lift a wet towel. Foam immediately replaces it. Grant finally looks at me. His shirt is stained with grease, and one sleeve is damp to the elbow. You let me fail. The words are quiet. I let you host. You knew I couldn't do this alone. So did you. His face crumples for 1 second before anger pulls it tight again. Celeste said what you did was vicious. That hurts more than I expect. I like Celeste. She asks questions and listens through the answer. At Christmas, she spent 40 minutes helping me rescue a broken sauce, while Diane told everyone it tasted unusual. Did you tell her how the dinner started? She was here. She saw you leave. He drops the dish towel onto the counter. I'm sleeping in the guest room. I nod. He waits, perhaps for me to stop him. When I don't, he leaves. I clean only enough to keep the floor from warping. The chairs, bottles, platters, and food remain where they are. At midnight, I open the pantry for a trash bag. 3 shelves have been rearranged. My appliances are crowded together at the bottom. In their place are Diane's silver serving platters, 2 glass beverage dispensers, stacks of ivory napkins, and a cardboard box marked Mercer Family Holidays. On top lies a yellow notepad in Diane's handwriting. Monthly lunch, second Sunday, anniversary dinner, Mara and Grant's, after honeymoon. Rehearsal dinner overflow, confirm tables. I am still reading when someone knocks softly on the front door. Celeste stands outside holding a green beaded key. Diane gave me this, she says. She told me somebody responsible should have a spare. I don't take the key. Why does it have a green bead? Celeste glances down at it, so Diane could tell the copies apart. Copies. That's the word she used. Behind me, soap bubbles drift across the kitchen tile. One reaches the edge of the hall rug and disappears into it. How many? I don't know. Who has them? I don't know that either. Celeste holds the key closer, but I keep my hands at my sides. Why did she give you one? She said you had a tendency to lock people out when you were upset. And you believed her. I believed there had been a family dinner, and the woman who lived here left rather than help. At 3:30, after Grant had already bought the food, accepted the invitation, and refused to tell anyone I hadn't agreed to it. Her eyes move past me to the dining room. She can see the stained rug, crowded table, and stack of folding chairs. From the guest room upstairs comes the faint thud of a drawer closing. Grant said you canceled the groceries to punish Diane. The first order was on my grocery account. The second was on our wedding card. He didn't mention the wedding card. No, Diane said she paid for dinner. She paid for the sides. Grant paid for chicken and potatoes. I don't know who paid for your key. Celeste's mouth pulls to one side. You've always had a sharp tongue. I'm tired. So am I. Tom spent an hour grilling in the dark because Grant didn't start the second batch until 7. Despite everything, I laugh. Celeste does too, once, then covers her mouth. Your fiancé owns an apron that says Grill Sergeant, she says. I assumed there was experience behind it. He bought that for a neighborhood cookout. He served chips. Her smile disappears as quickly as it came. She looks at the key again. I shouldn't have taken this. No. I was angry when you left. I know. You made a point at everyone else's expense. I left them with the man who invited them and the woman who planned the dinner. If that feels like abandonment, maybe the work was never as shared as they said. The guest room door opens upstairs. Celeste steps onto the porch and presses the key into my palm. I don't want to be in the middle of this. You already are. That's why Diane gave it to you. Grant appears at the top of the stairs. Aunt Celeste? She looks up at him. Your mother is making keys to a house she doesn't own, she says. You might want to deal with that. Then she walks to her car. Grant comes downstairs slowly. I set the green beaded key in the glass dish beside mine. His face loses color. How many are there? I don't know. Mara. Celeste didn't know either. He reaches for the key. I cover it with my hand. When did your mother make copies? I didn't know she did. You gave her the original. For the weekend. She handed a copy to Celeste because I might lock people out. That's crazy. The word lands differently when he uses it for his mother. I take the yellow notepad from the pantry and place it on the hall table. What is rehearsal dinner overflow? He stares at Diane's handwriting. I don't know. What is our anniversary dinner after the honeymoon? I don't know. What are the monthly lunches? I said, I don't know. Your name is written beside mine. It's Mom's list. It's in my pantry. He picks up the pad and flips through the blank pages, as if an explanation might be hidden farther back. She likes planning things. She likes planning me. That doesn't mean I agreed to any of it. Did you tell her she could use this house for monthly lunches? His silence answers before his mouth does. It wasn't definite. Did you tell her? She mentioned that her condo is too small. So you offered mine. Ours. I close my eyes. He lowers his voice. I said we could discuss it after the wedding. With me? Obviously. Then why did she already have a key, linens, serving dishes, and a schedule? He looks toward the kitchen. One of Diane's silver platters reflects the overhead light from inside the pantry. You make everything sound sinister. I'm asking ordinary questions. You're interrogating me at midnight. Because your aunt brought me a key to my own house at midnight. He drops the notepad. It slides off the table and lands under the radiator. I'm done. So am I. He goes still. I hear the refrigerator cycling, water dripping from the dishwasher seal, the quiet tick of the front hall clock Diane gave us when we got engaged. I had never noticed how many things in my house came from her. I don't mean with this conversation, I say. Grant looks younger when he's frightened. Not softer exactly, but unfinished. What are you saying? I'm saying this cannot continue into a marriage. One bad dinner. The dinner was a symptom. Don't talk to me like I'm one of your clinic problems. Then stop acting like I can solve you by adjusting a schedule. He presses both palms to his eyes. When he lowers them, his anger has gone. What do you want? The question is so plain that I answer it plainly. Every key returned. The money put back on the wedding card. Premarital counseling without your mother participating before, during, or after. No family events here unless we both agree before anyone is invited. Fine. You answered too fast. I don't need time. Fine. And if those things don't happen, you move out. His gaze flicks toward the stairs. This is my home too. It is where you live. That gives you rights. It does not give Diane rights, and it does not make my consent optional. You've thought about this. For approximately 4 hours. You'd throw me out over dinner? No, I would end our engagement because you think marrying me will make my no less important than your yes. His face tightens at the word end. I said I'll do it. He picks up the green beaded key and puts it in his pocket. I'll get the rest tomorrow. At the clinic Monday morning, Nina takes one look at me and closes my office door. You look terrible. Thank you. I mean medically. I got 3 hours of sleep. Emotionally terrible. She puts a paper cup on my desk. The coffee is too sweet and has cinnamon floating on top. I drink it anyway. Outside the glass wall, 2 physical therapists argue quietly over use of the larger treatment room. The phones start ringing at 8. A transport company has sent a driver to the wrong facility. One insurer's portal is down, and a ceiling tile near hydrotherapy has developed a brown stain. I spend 6 hours fixing things that make sense. At lunch, I stop the automatic transfer from my checking account to our wedding savings. I leave the existing balance alone. Then I make a list of every deposit already paid, every cancellation deadline, and every vendor who still has our card information. The list does not calm me. At 2, Grant sends a photograph of 3 keys lined up on the hood of his car. 1 plain brass, 1 with a blue cap, 1 with a red plastic square. Mom says these are all of them. I look at the green beaded key sitting in my desk drawer. Ask her again. He calls immediately. What do you mean, ask her again? She gave Celeste a copy. You took it last night. That's one of these. Which? He hesitates. The brass one. The one Celeste gave me had a green bead. She took the bead off. Why? I don't know, Mara. Maybe it fell off. Did you see it fall off? I'm standing in a parking lot doing exactly what you demanded. Can that count for something? It can, which irritates me. Yes, I say. It counts. I hear him breathe out. I made a counseling appointment Wednesday at 6. With who? Dr. Klein, the counselor from the premarital workshop. Grant had complained that the workshop's chairs were designed to make couples confess faster. Afterward, he bought us burgers and did an imitation of Dr. Klein, explaining conflict styles that made mustard come out my nose. Okay, and I transferred the grocery money to the wedding card. The payment notification arrives while he is talking. I see it. I'm trying. I see that too. For the next 2 weeks, trying looks almost convincing. Grant clears Diane's platters from the pantry and delivers them to her condo. He cleans the dining room rug twice, then pays a professional when the purple stain turns gray. He buys me new sewing scissors and leaves them, still packaged, beside the green dish. He does not ask me to forgive him. At counseling, he surprises me. Dr. Klein's office has a white noise machine outside the door and a shelf of relationship books with aggressive titles. Grant sits forward on the couch, elbows on his knees. I like being the guy who can make things happen, he says. My family calls, I say yes, and then I assume Mara can figure out the details. She usually can. I've confused her competence with permission. The sentence is better than anything I have managed. Doctor, Klein looks at me. How does it feel to hear that? Suspiciously good. Grant smiles, tired but real. I practiced, he admits. On who? Myself, in the car. Mom doesn't know we're here. Dr. Klein asks about Diane. Grant tells us his father spent most family gatherings disappearing into the garage while Diane cooked, served, and cleaned. After the divorce, she held tighter to traditions because traditions were evidence that the family still existed. She thinks if nobody comes to dinner, she's failed, he says. And what do you think? I ask. I think if everybody comes, I've succeeded. There is enough honesty in that answer to hurt. Dr. Klein gives us a rule. No invitation leaves either of our mouths until both of us have agreed on the labor, cost, and space. On the drive home, Grant reaches across the console. I can do that, he says. I let him take my hand. Diane does not call me. She sends one message saying she hopes counseling helps me feel more secure, then removes me from the Mercer family chat. Celeste adds me back. Diane removes me again. It would be funny if it didn't feel like being erased and drafted at the same time. A week later, Celeste calls while I am comparing repair estimates for the cracked kitchen tile. Your future mother-in-law has volunteered me for Easter, she says without greeting. That was generous of her. 32 people. Do you own 32 forks? I own 12 forks. Tom owns a plastic camping spork. I laugh. She said since you need space from the family, I should step up. You can say no. That's easy for you to say. It wasn't. She goes quiet. I'm sorry I called you vicious. Thank you. I'm still not sure leaving was kind. It wasn't meant to be kind. I suppose that's different. It is the first Mercer conversation I have had where disagreement does not become a verdict. Celeste holds Easter at a restaurant. Everyone pays for their own meal. Diane calls it impersonal, but she attends. Grant attends too. I don't. He brings me cheesecake afterward and says nothing about my absence. By the third counseling session, the wedding comes back into our conversations. The invitations need to be mailed. The venue needs a final count. My dress fitting is in 11 days. If we postpone, we lose the ballroom deposit, Grant says in Dr. Klein's office. If we don't postpone, we're betting the cost of a marriage on the cost of a room. He looks at the carpet. I don't want to postpone. I don't want to marry the man from that kitchen. I'm not that man. It's been 3 weeks. What number of weeks makes me different? I don't know. That's convenient. Dr. Klein interrupts before the argument hardens. She asks us each to name the loss we fear. I say, myself. Grant says, everything. For days, I turn that answer over. It sounds romantic until I realize I am included in everything alongside the ballroom deposit, his mother's approval, the family's opinion, and the story he has already told about his life. Still, I want to believe him. I unfreeze the wedding card for the florist's second installment. I mail the invitations. I schedule the fitting. On Friday afternoon, while reviewing the kitchen repair estimate, I see a transfer from the savings account where I keep the money for the cracked tile. $2,400. The memo says, Langley House Catering Rehearsal Adjustment. I call the caterer. A cheerful woman named Paige pulls up the file. Yes, the additional family package, she says. Mr. Mercer approved it yesterday. How many people? 18. What does the package include? Cocktail service, the tenderloin upgrade, imported cheese display, 2 premium bourbons. I close my eyes. Who requested the change? Mr. Mercer and Diane Mercer. We sent the revised contract to the alternate email on file. What alternate email? Paige reads it to me. It belongs to Diane. The new rehearsal dinner is the canceled Sunday order with waiters. I find the contract in Grant's desk drawer that night beneath our unused wedding invitations. His signature is at the bottom. Diane has written notes in the margin about flowers and serving times. Grant stands in the doorway behind me. I was going to replace the money, he says. I turn the page. In Diane's handwriting beside the guest count are 4 words. Mara will understand afterward. Afterward, I say. Grant stays in the doorway. It means after the dinner. I know what the word means. He rubs the back of his neck. I was going to tell you. When? Tonight. Before or after I found the contract. I didn't hide it. You put it beneath invitations in a desk I don't use. It's my desk. That's your defense? No, I'm trying to explain. I hold up the revised contract. Go ahead. He steps into the room and closes the door behind him, as though privacy is still available to us. You said no more events at the house unless we both agreed. This isn't at the house. You said no more work dumped on you. The caterer handles everything. And the money? It's our rehearsal dinner. It's my kitchen floor. We can wait on the tile. I've already waited 8 months. It's cosmetic. One of the tiles is cracked through, so we replace it later. He speaks with the calm confidence of someone moving a problem to another person's future. What happened to the money from the grocery order? I paid it back. Then took more than twice as much. This is different. It's the same 18 people, the same tenderloin, the same cheese, and the same bourbon. It's a family package. It's your mother rebuilding Sunday at our wedding. His eyes flash. She is paying for part of it. How much? I don't know the exact amount. Nothing then. She said she would. And you believed her because that made it easier to take my money first. He looks toward the contract in my hand. It's savings. My savings. I put that money aside before you moved in. We're getting married in 5 months. At some point, you have to stop dividing everything into yours and mine. You divided the labor. That's not fair. You divided the information. You put your mother's email on the contract instead of mine. She was coordinating. She wrote that I would understand afterward. That was her note, under your signature. Grant's jaw tightens. He is noticing the risk now, finally, but he is still searching for the sequence of words that will make the risk belong to me. We are in counseling, he says. We're supposed to work through conflict, not threaten the relationship every time you're upset. I set the contract on the desk. You practice that one too? His face goes blank. The cruelty of it hits me a second after I say it. So does the truth. He takes a step back. I have done everything you asked. You found a technical way around everything I asked. The dinner isn't here. You took money without asking. I'm authorized on the account. Your mother isn't. She didn't take it. She planned what you spent it on. He paces once across the small office. The unopened wedding invitations sit between us in thick cream bundles, our names printed in gray script. Mara Ellis and Grant Mercer request the pleasure. He stops beside them. If we cancel now, we lose the ballroom deposit. I know. We've mailed invitations. I know. My suit is altered. I know. Your dress. I know, Grant. Then what are you saying? I pull the ring from my finger. It does not slide off elegantly. My knuckle has swollen in the heat, and I have to twist it twice. The delay is humiliatingly ordinary. When it comes free, there is a pale indentation beneath it. I'm saying, I don't want to marry you. He stares at the ring in my palm. You don't mean that. I do. Because of a catering change. Because you heard no and started looking for another door. His mouth opens, then closes. I place the ring on his desk beside Diane's contract. Your mother believes I'll understand afterward because you have taught her that my consent can be collected retroactively. I never said that. You signed it. He grips the edge of the desk. We can call Dr. Klein. This isn't a misunderstanding. People make mistakes. Yes. You're throwing away 3 years. No, I'm deciding what the 4th year won't look like. His eyes fill. Grant turns his face, but not before I see. Part of me wants to cross the room. My body still knows the distance to him. It knows where his shoulder fits beneath my cheek and how to press 2 fingers into the tight muscle beside his spine. I stay where I am. He picks up the ring and closes his fist around it. Mom was right about you. The words come out broken. I nod because there is nothing safe to say. He sleeps in the guest room again. I lie awake listening to him move on the other side of the wall. In the morning, the green glass dish is empty. My key is in my purse, but Grant has taken every key from the hook. I call the venue from the clinic parking lot. The coordinator explains the cancellation schedule in the gentle voice people use while charging you thousands of dollars. We lose the ballroom deposit. The photographer keeps half. The florist returns most of our second payment because she has not ordered the flowers. Paige at Langley House cancels Diane's family package and refunds the transfer minus an administrative fee. The cracked tile has cost me nearly $600 without being touched. I pay it. By lunch, my hands have stopped shaking. I email Grant a spreadsheet dividing the refunds and losses according to what each of us contributed. I attach a 1-page agreement giving him 30 days to move out. It says he will return all keys on the final day and remove his belongings from the guest room, garage, bathroom, and office. He calls me 7 times. On the 8th, I answer. You canceled everything. Yes. You didn't even wait 24 hours. The caterer's cancellation fee increased tomorrow. Of course you know that. I read the contracts. I love that about you. The sentence nearly takes my knees out. I sit on the hood of my car. I know, I say. Come home. We can talk without contracts and lists. We tried that. No, you decided. I did. You can't make me move in 30 days. If you need a different date, propose one in writing. He laughs, a raw sound. You're my fiancé, not my landlord. I'm not your fiancé. Silence. "I'll be out," he says. He signs the agreement that evening. For the first week, he packs constantly. Boxes appear against the guest room wall and in the office. Then the boxes stop appearing. His suits remain in the closet. His shampoo stays in the shower. He eats dinner with Diane 3 nights in a row and comes home smelling like her rosemary air freshener. On the 12th day, he asks whether I have told my parents. Yes. What did they say? My father asked if I needed help changing the locks. Grant flinches. They never liked me. They did. Are you going to tell everyone about the groceries? I'm not issuing a report. Mom says people are asking. Then she can answer. He leans against the kitchen counter, close to the ring Diane's wine glass left that first night. The faint circle has survived 3 cleanings. She wants to talk to you. No. She thinks the wedding pressure got to both of you. No. She admits the note was inappropriate. No. He gives a tired smile. You really like that word now. I always liked it. You just used to hear it. His smile disappears. The following Sunday, Celeste comes over with a roll of packing tape and 2 empty wine boxes. I'm not taking sides, she says. Of course not. I'm helping Grant because he packs books like they're pillows. Upstairs, Grant calls, I can hear you. You were meant to, she shouts. She stays 4 hours. When she leaves, 16 boxes are sealed and labeled. Grant thanks her. I do too. At the door, she touches the rim of the green dish. Diane's parents' anniversary is next Saturday. I saw it on the list. She says the dinner is still happening here. I look toward the stairs. Grant is carrying a box to the guest room. He knows it isn't. Does she? She will. Celeste sighs. She moved it from the restaurant after you canceled the rehearsal package. Said the deposits had already done enough damage. Has she invited people? Of course. Did you say yes? I said I'd bring a salad. I look at her. She grimaces. I'm learning slowly. Learn before Saturday. Grant comes down after she leaves. You told your mother she could have the anniversary dinner here? No, I told her she couldn't. Celeste says she's doing it anyway. I'll handle it. How? I said I'll handle it. His move-out deadline is the day of the anniversary dinner. By Friday night, most of his belongings are still in the house. I find him sitting on the garage floor between 2 half-packed boxes, holding the grill sergeant apron. He looks at it, then at me. You can have this. I'd rather have the sewing scissors. They're in your room. My sewing room. He smiles faintly. Right. I sit on the concrete step. Is your apartment ready? I can't move in until Monday. You said Saturday. The management company changed the date. Then get a hotel. I'm staying with Mom. We both understand what that means. Diane's condo has 1 bedroom and a den she uses for exercise equipment. Grant will sleep on a pull-out sofa beneath a framed sign that says, Family is forever. He folds the apron into the box. She thinks you'll change your mind when I'm actually gone. Do you? He takes a long time to answer. I think you'll be relieved. So do I. He nods as if I have confirmed a diagnosis. Saturday afternoon, the rental company calls while I'm finishing paperwork at the clinic. A man asks where I want the additional 12 chairs. What chairs? The Mercer anniversary order. Our driver delivered the first set this morning, but the customer added 12. Who accepted the delivery? Diane Mercer. I close my office door. She does not live at that address. There is typing on his end. She used the access key. A copy Grant did not collect. I tell him the customer is not authorized to hold an event on the property and ask that every rental item be picked up immediately. He says Diane must approve the change because the contract is in her name. Then call her. She's standing inside my house. I drive home, cars line the curb. A florist's van is leaving. Through the dining room window, I see ivory linens, tall candles, and white flowers arranged across my table. The green dish beside the front door has been moved to make room for place cards. Diane stands in the dining room wearing a blue dress and an ivory apron. Celeste is beside her slicing lemons. Grant is in the hall. He looks exhausted, not surprised. Mom thought if she could get everything set up. Stop. Diane turns. Mara, before you make another scene, you used a copied key. It's a family dinner. In a house you entered without permission. Grant lives here. Until today. His eyes close. Diane takes off one oven mitt. This is exactly the time when decent people put aside their differences. My parents are expecting their family. Then take the dinner to your condo. That's impossible. No, it's inconvenient. The food is already here. Then pack it. She looks at Grant. Say something. He rubs both hands over his face. Mara, can we just get through tonight? There it is. One last request for afterward. I take the signed move-out agreement from my bag and hand it to him. Your deadline is 6 o'clock. Celeste sets down the knife. Diane's voice rises. You would throw him out during a family anniversary? He chose the date. He is trying to save this relationship by asking me to surrender my house one more time. The rental truck pulls up outside. Diane strides toward the door. They cannot take those chairs. They can if their customer tells them to. I won't. Then they can wait on the porch while you explain why you rented furniture for someone else's property. Celeste unties her apron. Diane stares at her. Where are you going? Home. We need you. You need my labor, Celeste says. That isn't the same thing. She takes her purse and walks to my side. For 1 second, I think Diane might cry. Instead, she grabs her phone and begins calling the relatives she invited. Grant carries his first box to Celeste's car, then another. Tom arrives with his truck 20 minutes later. By 6:15, the guest room is empty, the office desk is bare, and the grill sergeant apron is on its way to Diane's condo. The rental company removes the chairs. The florist takes back the vases. Diane packs the food into foil trays and leaves without looking at me. Grant is last. At the door, he puts 3 keys in the green dish. Mom says that's all of them. She said that before. I know. He looks around the front hall. There are pale rectangles on the wall where his photographs hung. I did love you, he says. I know. I just thought love meant you'd make room. I did. He looks at the empty hooks, then walks out. 6 weeks later, he mails another key in a padded envelope. Diane found it in a drawer after accusing him of losing her good corkscrew. Celeste tells me the anniversary dinner moved to the condo, where the folding table blocked the bathroom and Grant spent the evening washing plates because Diane refused to use paper ones. He stayed with her 11 days before his apartment was ready. It was long enough for them to argue about groceries, laundry, guests, and who was supposed to replace the wine. I replaced the cracked kitchen tile. The first dinner I host afterward is small. Nina brings bread. Celeste brings a salad and arrives early enough to ask where I want it, not where she should rearrange things. Tom brings 1 bottle of bourbon and takes the rest home with him. When dinner ends, everyone carries something to the kitchen. Nina washes, Tom dries. Celeste scrapes the plates and tells him he is holding the towel wrong. After they leave, I lock the front door. The only house key rests in my palm. I place it in the green glass dish, and it makes one clear, bright sound.